Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6 round post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, and once again joined by Eddie Mercado, who was
Hey.
not off drug running around the Caribbean, but actually was in school. Okay, I'm coming back through your mic right now.
Let's see. Does that help at all?
Uh,
Can you still hear yourself?
I can hear, I
Can
can
you hear
hear
me?
both of us. So
Is that better?
I'm getting like you on a wicked delay.
That's weird. Let's see. Hold on one.
Okay. Maybe. Oh, there we go. I found the problem. Ha! I had the actual. We're good. You don't need to. You don't need to pause anymore. Okay, you can unmute yourself. No, you're muted on the thing. You're muted on
There
the.
we go.
Yeah,
You had the actual YouTube
I
on.
had the YouTube page open and I was hearing it back through my headphones as we were talking. So, all right. Anyway,
Should have
we're back.
finished that math, Zane. That's what did you in.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
differential
Fuck.
equations.
Eddie is now smarter than me officially.
Well, this is not news to anybody, but
I mean, it's news to me. Rattles my sense of self.
you'll be fine. Your sweater's better than my hoodie. Look at that.
It's
Look at
true.
you.
It's true.
You're making Mr. Rogers look like a bum.
Mm-hmm. A kind bum, though.
A
All
very
right, we're
kind
coming
bum.
to y'all just from the close of UFC Tampa at the Amalie Arena, where Joaquin Buckley whooped up on Colby Covington, and I have to imagine. I mean, I know it would happen. I was watching it happen in the first round, but I feel like Colby Covington just went on a whole journey in this fight, which is first, I think that he started out this fight thinking, oh my God, I really am washed.
See, and that was the very first thing I was going to ask you. Is Kobe washed? The answer is yes.
Yeah, Colby is definitely washed, but I would bet that he probably didn't know it. He thought, okay, I'm fighting Kamaru Usman, I'm fighting Leon Edwards, I'm fighting the best guys in the world right now. If I'm losing a couple of those fights, they're the best in the world. I can take a step back. I can beat this guy. I assume that's why he accepted the fight with Buckley. He's like, oh, I can beat this guy, no problem.
Well, sure, that in the money.
Sure. But you could see in his face as he was eating those shots from Buckley and getting stuffed, getting his shot stuffed, getting pancaked, that there was some actual panic setting in of like, oh my God, I do not have anything for this guy at all.
Honestly, when I saw him walk out with Hulk Hogan and Chael
Yeah.
Sonnen, and I think there might have been someone else out there with him, but in my head, I'm like, oh, he's retiring after this. He's in Florida. This is where he trained his MMA
Yeah.
career. I thought he was going to retire, but he didn't.
No,
So
well, that's the other thing is that I think by the end of this fight, if I had to make a guess, and it's just a guess. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in the man's head. I'm not gonna. Oh, I am gonna pretend I know, but that's just what I'm here to do anyway. Um, but if I had to make a guess, I would assume that he ended this fight thinking the referees saved him.
no way. You got that
He,
wrong, bud.
well, no,
You
I don't
couldn't
think
be
I
more
have.
wrong, actually, in my
I think
opinion.
that's what Colby Covington is thinking. He's
I
thinking
don't think that for 1 second.
he's thinking I was getting takedowns, I was on top, I was taking this fight over, and now they're stopping it because of a cut.
Yes, that's what he's
That's
going to be
bullshit.
thinking.
That's what I'm saying is they're thinking The referee saved Buckley. I was just getting.
Oh, I thought you were saying that.
No.
Kobe
The
thought the ref was saving him.
No.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% agreement. Kobe has an excuse now.
Yeah, he has an excuse. He walked out. He ended that first round thinking, "Oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting my ass beat." And he ended that fight thinking, "Oh, I had his ass."
If you actually watch the first, it starts in the first round. Once he realizes his eye is cut, he starts trying to cut it more with his own hand. He wasn't wiping the blood. He was trying to make the cut happen. So he went full WWF on him.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding about that.
Yeah, I know, but it was just. I mean, that's also one of those things of like how you know a fighter is really done and doesn't have it is how distracted they get by adversity in the cage.
Sure.
And it's like when Josh Koscheck got his orbital broken, and then every fight after that, whenever he got punched in the nose, he would start like touching his eye and start thinking about it. It's like, okay, you don't have it anymore. Something is inside your head. And that was definitely like, that was the extreme body language out there from Covington. Is like, I got cut and I cannot stop touching this cut. Like he's not wiping blood away, but he's just like all the time. It's just like
another symptom is when they no longer dance with the one that brought him.
Yeah.
Colby cannot fight like he used to fight.
No, he can't.
Used to have that smothering pressure style wet blanket. He can't do any of that anymore.
Yeah.
And he's never been like a really great blast double kind of guy. He's always been like a clinch wrestler.
Yep.
He can't do that anymore. And I mean, his stand up, like he had a couple moments on the feet, but he's not potent. He's not lethal.
No, he's never been a finisher. He's always been a guy who goes out and he overwhelms with cardio and volume. And starting after the first loss to Usman, he started to become backfoot outfighter Covington.
Yeah.
He had a terrible fight with Tyron Woodley right after that. Then he lost to Kamaru Usman again. And then he had a terrible fight with Jorge Masvidal. And now he's had a terrible fight with Leon Edwards and with Joaquin Buckley. And he just doesn't have... For a lot of it, it was initially the front foot. For a lot of it, it was initially the fear of, I don't want to get knocked out again. Kamaru Usman knocked me out. I don't want to get in there and get crushed like that again. That was humiliating. I mean, he ran out of the cage after that happened. But now at this point, it's not just the fear, it's that he's just old. And I said it on the Vivi, credit to Colby, but guy definitely looks like he's never been using performance enhancing drugs. Like, he is aging right on time. He is getting old the way a mid-30s lifelong athlete gets old.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like it happened overnight, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe it didn't. Maybe it was. So he had that war with Usman, right? In their first fight. I mean, that was full form Colby Covington.
That was he was in the pinnacle of his form. He thought he was going to be champion. He got finished, and it was because he went to war. He was on the front foot, throwing all the volume, being that guy. And
then the next fight was the Woodley fight. And Woodley was washed.
And Woodley was super washed. And that was not a good fight for Covington.
But even a hard gauge, though, to see where Colby was.
Yeah.
And then he fought Usman again. Gets beat again.
Yeah.
Right? And then he fights a washed Masvidal.
Also not a good fight.
Not a good fight, but still winnable for him. And I'm like, there's bad blood there, whatever, emotions, whatnot. And then he fights Leon Edwards and looked like complete shit.
Yes.
Probably worse than he did out here.
Mm-hmm.
But in me, I kind of rationalized it as, he it looks like he doesn't have any knees, but it's also Leon Edwards.
Sure.
So I gave him a little grace in that.
You gave Colby the grace he gave himself. Like I say, I think he walked out there thinking, okay, it was Leon Edwards. It's Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
I take a step back. I fight Joaquin Buckley. I can do this. This guy doesn't have anything for me. And you see him by the end of that first round, and he's like,
fuck.
He's shook up. He's like, okay, no, it is me that doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Like, I am the problem, clearly.
But that's never going to come out that way, right?
No.
That's why I really thought he was going to retire with the Hogan and the Chael.
I'm surprised that he didn't retire after the Masvidal fight. I was surprised that he got the Edwards fight, and then I was surprised he didn't retire after the Edwards fight. He has not seemed like a guy who wants or likes to fight for the last 4 or 5 years,
And the thing is, like, I couldn't even tell you where he goes from here.
Yeah.
Or besides Twitch, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, he can't be the star of whatever right-wing grift he's going to jump on. I think he's really pushed himself for being a guest who comes on a news show and delivers talking points for a few minutes, because anything bigger than like 5 minutes, everybody's just like, oh my God, you're the most annoying. He was in Tampa, Florida with Hulk Hogan, and the crowd was dead quiet for that walkout. Like, he got nothing. They started chanting Colby sucks. Like, he's in the heart of Trump
the first
country.
round, I think it was.
Yeah.
But they also cheered for him when he finally got his takedown. They did cheer for him. But man, how appropriate is his idol to be Chael Sonnen?
Yeah.
Well, second place Chael. How perfect, right? Like, Colby's best moment might be that first fight with Usman.
Yeah, it is.
Where he almost he did well. He made it almost debatable before getting finished.
It was his crowning moment. And
although he was interim champion.
Yeah, and he believes that was a real thing, but it wasn't.
I mean, it'll go down in the record books.
Yeah, it's like a footnote. He got a footnote. But yeah, he that Kamaru Usman fight, the Lawler fight right before it, those were the pinnacle. And I think it's kind of shocking. Like I say, I think first of all, Usman put a scare into him.
Well, he altered his life. He broke his jaw.
Yeah, exactly. And that made his decline happen faster than it should have, because it changed. He left ATT. He went to MMA Masters. It changed his fighting style. And for a guy who was all about being on the front foot and volume to go and like start this whole back foot out fighting thing, it's just never made any sense. And then over the years since that, he's only gotten older, and now it's all just.
And he also got his teeth knocked out by Masvidal. So I'm not sure if that gave him any extra brain damage or fear of being hit.
Yeah.
But he's shop worn, man.
Yep.
He's shop worn. But we're not even talking about how great Buckley looked.
No, Buckley looked fantastic. Some talk in the chat about Buckley making some really bad decisions on the ground. I would say Buckley got controlled on the ground because he was just playing around. That did feel like, I mean, Covington is still a good top control wrestler. When he got the chances, he still knows how to shut somebody down and keep them from moving around under him. But definitely when Buckley went for like the inverted triangle,
that was sweet.
Like, it was cool, but it's also like, you don't need to be doing that. Like, you're doing that because you feel like you can.
Yeah, you're playing with your food.
Yeah.
No, I'm perfectly fine with that. Especially if he would have hit that. If you submit Colby, the first to submit him, that's a feather in your cap right there. And honestly, would have been a much cooler win.
Oh yeah,
I would have got a win bonus or a performance bonus for it. But winning on a cut, you're not going to get a bonus for that.
No, even Buckley sounded disappointed in it after the fight. He's just like, I wanted to knock him out. That was the whole plan. This is fine, but whatever.
Man, he looked great out there.
He did.
And I can't just say it's because Colby's washed. Like, he has been constantly improving.
He took the right fight to Covington. He stayed on the front foot. He punched in combination. He sprawled really well on Covington's shots. And it's only that, he got tangled up a few times on the fence and let Covington sort of pull him into prolonged wrestling battles that ended up being bad for him ever. But it was never that bad. He never got seriously damaged on the ground, and he never got up from any of those takedowns looking drained at all. It never looked like he was
And he always got up.
Yeah, and he always got up.
So that was definitely a good sign.
He's been strong at 170 pounds. He's always been a really tireless fighter. And, he's got the power. As long as he can be a high output, tireless guy who hits hard, he can be a problem for a lot of people,
I don't know if he's tireless. I don't think I've ever seen him in 5 rounds before.
Yeah, I don't know about 5 rounds.
4.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say this yet.
Maybe not. Okay, maybe not tireless, but he's never the kind of fighter. He's the kind of fighter who, even when he gets tired, even when we've seen him in fights like that fight he had against Abdul Razak Al Hassan years ago, even when he gets tired, he always pushes exactly the same. Like, you will never see Joaquin Buckley take his foot off the gas and just try to rest his way through a fight, So
yeah, he had a better call out this time, I guess, with the fans picking his poison, so to speak. But I mean, 2 of the 3 of his options aren't even available for him.
Yeah,
isn't Usman fighting JDM?
I'm looking right now. That fight is not officially booked. So.
Okay. So there's a chance.
There's a chance that he could do the Usman fight. That is a good fight to book.
The better fight would be JDM, though.
Yeah, the better Buckley versus JDM absolutely would be better. He called out Edwards, which, I mean, that's also a good fight too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then what's the last one that he called out? Muhammad?
Yeah, Bilal, which is the dumbest call out.
Yeah, that is a fight he's absolutely not going to get. So
yeah, him and Shavkat have a date. Not officially, but like that's the rightful heir.
Yeah, but it's going to be. So yeah, I mean, there's a chance that he ends up stuck fighting somebody like Sean Brady, honestly.
Ugh, but what a step back.
Yeah. But I would love to see him fight Jack Della Maddalena. That would be the fight that I would really love to see.
Yeah.
Joaquin Buckley, JDM.
Honestly, I feel like Ian Gary did so well against Shavkat that they could book him and Buckley like it was supposed to happen.
Yeah. And
I'd be cool with it.
They could absolutely book Buckley versus Gary. I'd watch that too. I don't have a lot of interest in Buckley versus Usman, frankly. And
I don't have interest in seeing Usman fight again, honestly. I feel like he's shop-worn too.
He is, and his last fight was a middleweight fight, so I don't know, like...
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Is there any real plan for Usman to go back down to 170? If he does, is he going to make the cut? Is it going to be a good cut? Like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
So, Gary, JDM, those would be fun. Edwards would be fine if he can convince Edwards to take that fight, And Edwards might, because Buckley is a fun fight. He is a fight that I don't see a lot of fighters actually avoiding him because he will be a fun fight for them to be in. He's not out there to hold somebody down.
I've only seen one guy avoid him, and it was Ian Gary.
Yeah. Yeah.
For reasons. But I guess he ended up signing on for that. But then the Shavkat thing kind of took precedence.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And for Covington, I mean, who knows? Who knows what he's going to do? If I'm Colby, I'd angle for like a fight against Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, that's probably the only appropriate fight for him.
Yeah, or Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, or the ghost of Gilbert Burns.
Burns or Thompson, but like I don't care if he gets those fights. He's just not at all fun to watch anymore. So, But yeah, this was a great performance from Buckley. His striking looked clean. He had the right answer. He had the right approach. Kept his jab on Covington, stepped in, hit him with powerful combinations. Whenever Covington sat down on anything, Buckley was right there to answer back and hit him. Like, just a really good, solid performance from Buckley.
He's got a little of that old school Mike Tyson in him.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Those hooks.
Clear. He started his career basically as like a self-trained guy bouncing around like 10 different gyms in the Midwest, and you can tell that a big part of his early influence was training to like be that Mike Tyson puncher, darting in and being the guy who punches up with the hook. I mean, that's probably also why he styled himself as a middleweight fighter when he's clearly a welterweight, is so he could always be the short guy and have that a chance to punch up at somebody.
Well, that and the brutal weight cut.
I don't think his weight cut to light or to welterweight has never looked like it's been a problem, honestly.
Yeah, but it's a whole different discipline with your diet and
sure
more. It's extra work.
Buckley's such a grind set dude, though. I can't ever think that he's been like. He strikes me as the kind of person who meal preps like a month worth of boiled chicken breast at a time.
Sure.
Like I bet that I don't get the feeling he's the guy who worries about his diet a lot.
Well, I think he does his due diligence and puts a lot of work into it.
Yeah. He's
gonna prime. He's in his fucking prime, dude.
He's in his prime.
Monster.
He's in his prime, and this is, it's great to see him. It's great to see him really showing up like this and going from being like absolutely hated a couple fights ago for that Conor McGregor call out and his feud with his beef with Daniel Cormier to now, having people think that he could be a title contender.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So love to see it. Otherwise, co-main event. Good night for the old men. Cub Swanson going out and absolutely. I mean, Quarantillo made him work for it.
Absolutely did.
This was a hell of a fight. Great scrap, great back and forth. But Swanson still has enough that you could tell he had talked it over very seriously with his wife before this fight, and she was like, I would love for you to retire for me. And he's in the cage after that knockout, and he just could not say it.
Oh, no. It sucks, too, because he could have had his Robbie Lawler moment.
Yeah.
Like, that's your Lawler moment. Like, go out on not only a win, but a fucking knockout win.
Yeah.
Like, you're that dude. Thing. You're that guy. You deserve that.
Yeah.
Man. That was a shame.
But like riding so high off that and the kind of fighter he's always been, he's just sitting there thinking like, man, I want to do that again right now.
Honestly, I don't think he'll ever get a guy as hittable as Billy Q was tonight.
No. I gotta say, like if I would like to see Cub retire for the storyline aspect of it, I would also like to see Billy Q start looking at like,
oh. Yeah,
you got to be looking at the amount of damage you're taking, dude, because for a long time, you were a nearly unbreakable fighter who would go out there and go to war. He got one TKO loss early in his career, and any other time he lost, it was a hard-fought decision. Then Edson Barboza melted him with that knee, and now he's been stopped in 3 of his last 4 fights. And like he lost a little bit of speed, I think, and with the style that's always been for him about tanking damage until you can force a grappling battle. Like now he's just tanking so much damage.
I will say this. I appreciate and respect Billy Q for not going Mario Bautista and just try to wall install a veteran, a legend like Cub Swanson.
He made this.
He went toe to toe.
Yeah,
like he gave the fans what we wanted to see. I mean, salute to him. Nothing but respect. That was awesome. Like, thank you, Billy Q. He did have his grappling moments, but it wasn't like just him spamming takedowns. He actually fought. So salute to him. It could have been a double retirement. That would have been fine with me. But Cub really fumbled, in my opinion, on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you get the feeling that he's going to be having a family conversation in the next week, that he's going to come out and on Instagram or something and be like, "That was my last one, everybody. Adios."
Yeah, once he comes down from the high.
Yeah,
sure.
but he just couldn't do it in the moment.
Wait till he's around the family, around the holidays.
Yeah.
It'll set in. But this was my favorite moment of the night. I'll tell you that much. I was screaming.
It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I really loved seeing it. I loved seeing Cub get this win. It was, I picked him going in, so I'm especially like, I was like, I think Billy has lost a step, and Cub, like, he lost a step 8 years ago, and it somehow has, like, he's been the same guy ever since then.
Yeah.
And that guy is still powerful, still slick enough to, like, make people have a little trouble handling him, not know what's coming from him, and still dynamic everywhere and can compete everywhere. Like, you still don't see anybody except the very best wrestlers and grapplers ever, like, out wrestle Cub Swanson and just take him down and hold him down.
Ever since, was that Dan Ige that exposed him like a long time ago?
Swanson?
I think it was. What's that?
Swanson? Or are you talking No, Swanson. Or are you talking like in grappling or something?
No, it was a UFC fight. He just took him down and held his ass down.
Frankie Edgar did that.
Was it Frankie?
Yeah, Frankie did that.
Before that.
In 2014. Frankie did that. And then the comeback, Swanson was so worried about Frankie Edgar's kick wrestling that he let Frankie Edgar out kickboxing.
Okay, there we go.
That's and then the Moicano and Ortega losses were like club and sub submissions.
One of the last of the WEC guys.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm so happy for him.
Yeah. So he's still, I can see why he wants to keep doing this. Because like I said, Cub kind of, he lost a step back in like 2018. And he still seems like the same fighter that we were watching then when he lost a step.
Yeah.
Someone
in the chat's asking what I thought about the Bryce Mitchell-Kron Gracie fight. I thought Kron did a lot better than he did in his last fight. I'll say that. And that finish was epic. When someone tries to pull guard, you cross-face them and jump down and slam their chin into the back of their spine. Like
especially when they try to pull guard like a lost dog that's just been reunited with its owner for like the first time in 2 years.
Wat Myman, right? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Who was that? Jordan Levitt, maybe?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, same sort of scenario. I love that kind of finish. That's brutal. Yeah. That's nasty. That's the jiu-jitsu don't work on me. Jiu-jitsu don't work in the streets. No, that was a good time.
All right, let's talk about flyweight bout now. Manel Kape, Bruno Silva. This is my sad moment of the night.
Rest in peace to the testicles of Manel Kape.
Yes, I was all through those dick kicks. I was cheering Bruno Silva on.
Why?
Because I like Bruno Silva. He's a super fun fighter. Always fun. Always puts his heart on, wears his heart on his sleeve. Always goes out on his shield. Always does everything he can to win. And I knew he was going to get goddamn murdered by Manel Kape.
Yeah.
So I was watching. I'd be like, "Yeah, just kick him again. Kick him low. Do whatever you have to, Bruno. Come on, pull this out somehow." And Manel Kape is like 5 times faster than him, and it did not matter.
He's 5 times better than him.
Yeah,
he's 5 times better. Like he was in the Matrix out there. That was some Lomachenko shit he was doing. I can't even recall seeing Cop in that kind of flow state before.
Yeah.
He was dribbling the basketball. He was like his vision was just unobstructed, completely unobstructed. That was a stellar performance.
I knew that was going to happen. I hate to see it. I hate to see my boy Bruno get done like that.
And you know what? I'll even go ahead and say that that low blow there at the end that Cop delivered was a little bit of sweet justice.
It was karmic justice. I don't even hate that. I get it. You got dick kicked a bunch, whatever. But I do hate to see Bruno Silva get blasted like this. I knew it was going to happen. And I just was like, man, this is a terrible fight for Bruno
he
Silva.
went full ballerina out there. You never go
full ballerina. He was spinning like Wile E. Coyote when he gets turned into like a human drill bit because he hangs on to like
he went full Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, full Taz. I hate to see it.
Yeah,
knew it was going to happen.
I'm glad. I'm so glad it happened, and I hope Cop gets his Pantoja rematch.
Yeah, I don't think he will right away, but you know what? I don't blame him for asking for it.
I think
there's no obvious contender in that division right now.
Care France?
Yeah, like I said, there's no obvious contender in that
division right now. I mean, the only reason I think you would pick Care France over Cop is for the fact that his fight with Pantoja was on the Ultimate Fighter. So it wasn't like a real fight. It was a real fight, but like not on the record.
Yeah, I mean they're both in the same position. They're both fine, fun title contenders. I don't care if either of them gets it. So it's smart for Cop to call it out. Start his campaign, see if he can get it done, and we'll see because all I'll say is that if I'm Pantoja, there's no way in hell I'm giving Brandon Royval another title shot off of 2 split decisions.
Definitely not. But it's F Kai Kara France, F Brandon Moreno, F Israel Adesanya for some fucking reason. Like
the most one-sided beef in all of MMA.
I don't even think Adesanya knows who he is.
I am sure he does not. Why would he? Like,
I mean, if he doesn't get the title shot, I mean, I'm fine if he fights Kai Asakura for the 3rd time. That would be cool too.
That'd be cool as hell. He could also fight. He says fuck Brandon Moreno. Fight Brandon Moreno. I'd love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Fight Brandon Royval. Royval needs to fight everybody before he gets another title shot, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
No, there's options for him.
Yeah. But he's in line for something big. He has all the ability to be a top title contender. He has the natural athletic ability to be champ. It's just, can he keep his head in the right place? But
yeah, he looked fantastic out there.
Yeah, he's as dialed in as it gets. Like I said, I knew this was coming. I hated it. I hated this booking from the beginning, but oh well.
I thought it was a great booking and a great opportunity for Silva.
Yeah, nah. I knew Silva was just gonna get murdered.
But like, if you want to be great, you gotta.
Yeah, he could have had a chance to be great against like Cara France or Royval or something. That would have been a fight where he might have had some ability to compete. This was just like he's not built to fight somebody that much more athletic than him
or better. It's not just the athleticism.
It is not just the athleticism, but the athleticism is a big part of it. Cop is a hyper plus athlete, like Kai Asakura, like like a lot of the very top flyweights out there, like DJ was and stuff like that. He's got that kind of speed. He's ridiculous.
Absolutely, he's lightning fast.
Bruno does not. Bruno is a much more normal speed.
He's a bulldog, though.
He is. All right. We got to talk about Dustin Jacobe, Vitor Patrino.
Man.
And
this was shades of, oh my goodness. It was like, Gabriel Gonzaga and Sean Jordan, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where it was just
Mm-hmm.
like a staring contest for damn near 3 whole rounds, and then Gonzaga was like, "Bam!" and just won.
Yeah. I think it was Frank Mir, Mirko Krokop too.
Okay.
Was another one that like people remember as like a cool knockout and a cool finish, and then you watch the fight and you're like, that was one of the worst fights I've ever seen to be ended by one amazing moment. Yeah, Frank Mir won it by KO in the third with a knee in the third round of a complete staring contest.
Yeah, this was. I mean, you have to credit Jacobe and his team for having the game plan to go out there and be patient and look for a late finish. It almost didn't work, right? It almost didn't work.
He's also lucky that Patrino has really been on this whole. I know I started out MMA as this incredibly aggressive bully, but now I'm going to be a technical outfighter guy, and he just doesn't do shit.
He's got no kind of extended form, right? After 2 punches, his form completely breaks down. So
2 punches is generous, like
and he gets himself into trouble because he doesn't have any kind of he's not defensively responsible while he's throwing.
No,
like it's kind of responsible on the first punch. Second punch is getting a little crazy.
Yeah.
After that, it's on that with Chris Padilla. It's on that level.
Yeah, like I don't get it because to me, it's just like you knew what kind of fighter you were coming up. You were a brawler who would go out there and just push the action on people, be a beast, pick them up, throw them around, be physical. And now you're going to be this patient outfighter who just tries to pick his shots with no technical game to support that. Like, that's why I picked Jacobe going into this. It's just like Bruno Silva's just going to stand out there and watch Dustin Jacobe kickbox. I'll pick Dustin Jacobe to get that win, even if I think he's in the late stages of his career and quickly getting less and less durable to take the kind of punishment he used to take to get that done.
Yeah, I mean, he did get wobbled a couple times.
He did.
So it was Kevin Jordan.
Okay,
Kevin Jordan in 2005 with the Superman punch.
Yeah.
He got knocked out by Gonzaga. UFC 56. Damn, we're old, Zane.
Wild, weird finish. I'm loving it for the oldness of it. Dustin Jacobe getting another old man win by being patient and old. He's not even that old. He's 36. Come on,
but he's high. He's got high mileage.
He's got high mileage.
He fought in Glory. He had a kickboxing career also.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I will say this: the mood was set, right? Like the fight was so boring, the crowd broke out.
Oh yeah, we were
the cell phone flashlights.
Nobody expected that shit. When it happened, it was a shock.
And it came right after Patrino threw that flying knee.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he blew his wad on that knee, so to speak. And I think he was completely gassed after it, and that's when Jacobe aced him.
Yeah, maybe. I was just congratulating when it happened. I was just congratulating Patrino for actually trying. So I was like, good, go be violent. That is like, you are twice as strong as this man. Why are you not pushing him back and like making him carry your weight and making him deal with you going after him? And then
he couldn't out grapple him.
Yeah.
He could not out grapple Jacobe at all.
But even like not even out grapples, just like pick him up and throw him or something.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Didn't have it in him. Couldn't do it.
It's I fortunately for me, I'd already lost faith in Patrino at this point, so it wasn't a shock. But
yeah, what is he good at besides just being a big dude?
That's yeah. I mean, we're talking that he carried a completely shot Tyson Pedro to a decision in 2024. Like, it's just not there. I don't know. He needs to get to like King's MMA or something where they'll just teach you to march forward and be a tank, fight on the front foot with your head down.
I don't think there's any saving him, my guy.
Yeah.
He's letting these old guys get wins over him. Like, not only just wins, he's getting finished. Like, finished. Like, low fight Q, you shoot in on Anthony Smith for no reason and get guillotined. Maybe it's forgivable. This, you're up 2 rounds and you just get caught. I don't even know. I don't have any kind of excuse for this.
Yeah, no.
Other than he's just not great at fighting at this level.
Yeah. But yeah, hey, good win for Dustin Jacobe. He's not a ranked light heavyweight at this point, is he?
No way. He was on a crazy losing skid.
Yeah, but it's light heavyweight. You can still be bad and be okay. No, he
can't be that bad.
All right. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. You just have Dustin Jacobe. You just take a fight at light heavyweight at that point. Fight like he's coming off a win. Mingyang Zhang just got like deaded some dude. He's a fun brawler. That'd be fun.
Sure.
Anyone
that's willing to stand and bang with him.
Yeah, anybody, any unranked light heavyweight that's willing to go out there and give him a few rounds. That'll be fun. All right. That brings us to a bantamweight bout. Daniel Marcos, Adrian Yanez. As advertised, for the most part, a quality volume kickboxing scrap.
My fight of the night.
Yeah, great fight of the night. Did it win fight of the night? Here we go. We should know by now. Fight of the night? No, Cub Swanson, Billy Quarantillo won fight of the night. Which,
that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's more than fair. But
and honestly, I'm going to blame Marcos for that. They could have had fight of the night, but I think he got super tired and he leaned into his grappling.
He got super tired and he realized he had lost the previous round and that he should just go out there and seal this fight up. And you know what? I won't hate it. Like, you went into a tough fight. Adrian Yanez is a tough fighter. You guys put on a hell of a battle. And each of you had your moments. Just go out there. You don't need to go like 1-for-1 with this guy for another round and squeak out a decision,
I am completely down. I'll even say it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because he baited him. He's like, all right, we're going to get into this exchange. Yeah. Oh, takedown. Brilliant mixed martial arts. Brilliant phase shifting. I like it. I like it a lot. What I don't like is when he got back to his feet.
Oh, yeah.
He was dead ass tired and he starts going for a fucking walk like Nate Diaz or something. I hate seeing that. Like, you're an undefeated killer and you're going for a walk mid fucking fight. Well, it's the end of the fight, but still. I just hate seeing that. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad sign for his potential as a top contender because at some point you have to fight 5 rounds, and if you're dead after 3 at 135, like, that's a problem. So
a lot to learn here.
Smart fight for Marcos, but you definitely have to watch his cardio from here on out.
He gives me the Figueiredo feel.
Yeah, which he did look huge out there in this fight. I never really thought that about him before, but it really did stand out in this bout.
And I never really seen Yanez as undersized for the division.
Yeah.
But Marcos looked big out there.
Yep.
And he packed a wallop.
He did.
But he definitely looked a little he was like, oh shit, I'm in a fight. He had that look to him out there. Yanez showed up, man. Credit to him.
He did. Smart fight for Marcos. Good fight overall. The fight that it was booked to be fun, back and forth. And I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think there was anything wrong with the decision other than maybe one of the judges giving Marcos a 30-27 and also one of the judges giving Yanez round 3. I get that the body language from Marcos is bad, but you got to look at the actual work being done. And all Yanez did when Marcos is walking away from him is go clinch him up. Like, he didn't, he wasn't chasing Marcos down and throwing a ton of volume and hurting him and putting him on his heels. He was just
I had it 2-1 for Marcos.
Yeah, that seems like
I don't see how you can give the second round to Marcos. He got fucking wobbled.
Yeah. Not see how you give the third to Yanez. It just doesn't.
if you want to penalize that timidity of walking away multiple times, fine with me.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway. All right, that brings us to well, I guess what's next from Marcos? That fight probably makes him a ranked bantamweight because I think
he called out Jose Aldo.
Yeah, which
I don't think he's earned it.
No, I don't think he's earned it, and I don't think I care about it. Like, it might not make him a ranked bantamweight either. Giann, as it turns out, isn't ranked.
He used to be. Once upon a time, he was.
Yeah. I could see Marcus McGee. McGee had, his last win over Jonathan Martinez was a struggle.
Actually, that's an excellent fight.
Yeah.
That's two powerhouses.
Yeah.
That showed some holes in their last outing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a perfect matchup, Zane.
Yeah.
Well played.
Marcus McGee versus Daniel Marcos. I'd like to see it. All right. That brings us to a light heavyweight bout. Navajo Sterling, Tuco Tokos, and I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm I know I'm a biased source because I think that Sterling is a very, very, very good prospect. I think this is a very good, solid performance for Sterling. And I know I saw a lot of people, especially in my live thread and stuff, being like, oh man, I don't trust him, or he's not that great anymore after this fight. It's like,
this was his 6th pro fight in MMA.
Exactly. He's been a pro for 2 years. Even his kickboxing career, I know he talks about it, but it's not special. It's not a Israel Adesanya kickboxing career. It's more like I did some amateur kickboxing, some competitive karate, some shiny pants stuff and stuff like that. And this is his 6th pro fight. And there's a lot that he's clearly not that comfortable with in the cage. And he's learning. And this was a learning fight because the biggest thing I think that he ended up with here is that Tuco Tokos just did not go away the way all of his other opponents have.
Sure.
And once that didn't happen, he started to make big mistakes of his own. He just started to tie himself up in situations where it's like, you don't need to be doing this.
Sure, but he also worked his way out of those bad situations, right? He got his back taken. He got out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not hard on him at all. I think
no, me either.
It was a weird fight, not a great fight. But he came really close to finishing that guy a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a severely forgiving division.
It is.
So it won't take much. And I guess the biggest plus for me here is how well he did in the grappling.
Yeah.
He always used his head. It took him a half a second. It's not quite automatic, but he was like, oh shit, I'm clinching. I need to get my head under their jaw. Like little things like that. It's there. He knows what to do in these situations everywhere. So there's a foundation there to build off of. So I'm not super bummed out, I guess.
Also, it has to be said, somebody in my life there was like, oh, a top wrestler is gonna really just kill him, and it's like, yeah, but there are 3 good wrestlers in light heavyweight at all. You're talking what, Nikita Krylov and Alexander Rakic?
Yeah, maybe.
We are not talking about a division where wrestlers just show up around every corner. Johnny Walker is a top-ranked light heavyweight right now. You're telling me this guy...
Anthony Smith is still ranked. I guess if Anthony Smith can get him down, he could probably sub him. But I could also see him getting his clock totally cleaned by this guy. Tell me he don't look like Neil McDonough, though.
I call him Glow Up Brian Battle.
Brian War.
Yeah.
I think he looks a lot like Neil McDonough to a point where
he does also.
I've never seen that before. That's his true doppelganger.
All right. So he obviously needs more cage time. He has not had a lot of fights to this point. People in the chat are suggesting he fight Iwan Kudalaba. I would be totally fine and down with that. He could also fight, who was the Brazilian guy that Brinson Ribeiro, who just beat Caio Machado. That's a good low-level fight in that division. Ibo Aslan.
Sure.
I watched that,
Ibo. Any low-level guys where he can get some work in. And he said in the cage, he's like, I'm learning on the job, you know?
Felt like a fine performance to me. I had it 30-26 for him. And you're fighting a bad fighter and you don't finish him, you're still dominating him in every round. So not worried about it.
And like I was saying, even in the bad positions, he found a way out.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to a lightweight bout. Michael Johnson, Atman Aitar, and Michael Johnson, you're not on your way to another title or to another run at the top of the lightweight division. I hate to tell you that because that's clearly what you believe, but he's still getting it done,
And I'm scared for him for every second of the fucking fight, dude.
Yeah.
Every second of that fight. I picked Johnson to win. I wanted Johnson to win. But the whole time I'm like, is he about to get clipped? Is he about to get clipped? And that's just going to be the way it is from here on out. Or not even from here on out. That's the way it's been.
It's the way it's been for a long time now. It's the way it will remain. I picked Johnson too going in because Atman Aitar he's not really a fighter at this point.
He might be the only guy less trustworthy than Michael Johnson.
Yeah, he is a dude who he used his reputation as a fighter to become BFFs with an incredibly rich and powerful person. And now the important part of his life is maintaining the image that he is a fighter. And that is what taking a pro fight in the UFC does for him. Winning it is not important. The important thing is the image maintenance of, oh yeah, no, I still totally do this. And I'm still totally a badass. And I'm not just my rich friend's buddy,
Sure. I can see that.
He's not a serious fighter. And that was why I picked Johnson going into this. It's it's not. Johnson's still fast. He used to be basically the fastest lightweight I'd ever seen. So even in an old age diminished version of Johnson is still as fast as any lightweight out there.
Yeah, he's still, but he's so gun shy. I think that's the big thing. And both of them are. They were both so scared to pull the trigger because they've been dusted, on the regular.
Well, Aitar just eventually he to his credit, as a paper fighter, he is a killer be killed guy. He goes out there and you could see he just got to a point in the second round where he's like, well, I'm losing, so I'm just gonna try to kill him and we'll see what happens.
Sure.
And he got knocked dead.
No, that massive hook that Johnson uncorked, it was gorgeous. I mean, that might be the only time it ever works, but that was awesome. Yeah. And the super necessary punches were brutal.
That was really brutal. Yeah. I'm not going to feel bad about it, but
No, I don't feel bad about it at all.
Super unnecessary.
No, super necessary.
All right. Let's see. Is there any fight I can imagine Michael Johnson getting right now?
Jim Miller. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, I would just pick Jim Miller to knock him out. No real questions. Miller's still very confident about his ability to step in and pull the trigger.
I think it'd be a good old guy scrap.
Sure, it would be a fine old guy scrap. Somebody also recommended is putting Michael Johnson versus Bobby Green out there.
Also I don't think Bobby. Old guy scrap.
That's a good old guy scrap. Otherwise, I I don't know. Isn't that enough? Vince Pichel.
Another old guy scrap.
Yeah.
I'm fine with all those.
Yeah.
Just don't give him like Jalen Turner or something.
No,
like that.
no. I know that technically Dustin Poirier is an old guy and Justin Gaethje is getting up there. These are not what don't give me anybody who's hurt.
I'm not against Poirier. I don't think Johnson deserves it, but I think Poirier deserves that rematch.
True. That is.
He got knocked the fuck out by Michael Johnson.
He did. A reminder of just how insanely fast Johnson was in his prime.
Yeah, that finished sequence, some of the fastest punches you'll ever see in MMA.
All right. That brings us to a lightweight bout. Joel Alvarez, Drakkar Klose. And I was really, I picked Alvarez ultimately, but I was hemming and hawing going into this one.
I really wanted to pick Klose here.
He has been so goddamn tough over his career. Like, I know he got knocked out by Beneil Dariush.
It was a war.
It was a war. He almost knocked Dariush out. And otherwise, he's had one really questionable loss in a really shit fight to David Tamer. And that's it for his whole career for Drakkar Klose. Like, he had a draw back in Tachi Palace in 2016. And he's otherwise had 2 losses, one of which is meaningless. So I was just like, man, Joel Alvarez, good finisher, but there are holes in his game. And if Klose can just like put him on the fence and grind on him, make this fight ugly, do like that moment he had where he picked Alvarez up over his head and slammed him out of that guillotine, because Klose is strong as hell.
He's strong. I like Drakkar Klose.
Yeah.
He's talented. He's tough everywhere. He's a fighter. Like he is a fighter. He has, wrestling background and all that, whatever. Yeah. He's a fighter, like through and through. And I really wanted to pick him here, but I just couldn't trust him. Alvarez is so huge and so lethal.
Yeah, it came down eventually to one of these guys finishes everybody and is a really violent fighter who always has ways to trap you into getting hurt. And the other is a guy who finishes nobody. And he's good, and he doesn't.
Wow, that slam on Joe Solecki.
Yeah, okay. He's not, I wasn't going to slam Joel Alvarez unconscious. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't concerned about that. It's Drakkar Klose is a fighter who much more often he's going to, he's going to be tough. He's really tough to beat, but he doesn't finish a lot of people. It's just not. It's not part of his game.
Sure.
So I had to pick Joel Alvarez, and Joel Alvarez, when it came right down to it, he's got to be a ranked lightweight at this point. Like, he made that look easy,
man,
and vicious.
I just referenced that 2005 Gonzaga fight.
Yeah.
So I've been watching MMA for a long time, and you have too.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen a knockout like this in my fucking life. This is one of the craziest. If it weren't for Max and what he did to Gaethje, I'd be like, knockout of the year contender here. This is one of the craziest finishing sequences I have ever seen. From the setup strikes, which was like a jab to calf kick that had Drakkar stumbling, to the flying knee, to the guillotine, to punches inside the guillotine. I don't know what put him out. Was it the knee? Was it the guillotine? Was it the punches in the guillotine?
Yeah.
He was out, but I don't know what caused him to go out. Did he stand up too fast? I have no idea. That is one of the most violent finishes I've ever seen. And here we are, almost 2025, and I'm seeing some shit I've never seen before.
Yeah. It's cool.
Greatest sport of all time.
Yeah, if he can get into the rankings off a win like that at lightweight.
Oh, no. You know who he needs to fight?
Who?
Mauricio Rufy.
Oh, yeah. He should be getting somebody like Jalen Turner or Benoit Saint-Denis.
Damn that. Fight Rufy. That's what I want to see.
I agree. I want to see that fight too, but that is cruel booking to somebody who has already put in as much time as Alvarez has and been as thrilling as he has. Like if I'm Alvarez's team, I say, screw that. Like I want to fight, Renato Moicano. Like, don't give me some guy, some killer that nobody's ever heard of before.
No, I hear you. That's just what I want to see. That for
It is
me
what
is the most exciting fight.
I get it.
But he's honestly talking. He was talking about moving up to 170.
It's true.
He said maybe someone ranked, or no, he said he wants Spain. If they give him Spain, he'll do 155 again. Otherwise, he's moving up. And if Ilia Topuria is moving up, I don't blame him for going to 170.
Although I still think that's bullshit from Topuria. But
what, moving up?
Yeah, I don't.
That's a weird thing to say, but go ahead.
He's not leaving his belt behind. There's no way in hell.
Why does he have to leave it behind?
He said he was gonna for a minute, and then he said he's not.
Conor did the same exact thing.
I know, and he'll drop right back down. I don't think he's staying at lightweight. I don't think that's going to be the future of Ilia Topuria.
I think there's a big hiccup at lightweight waiting for him. Islam Makhachev.
Well, it was almost, oh man, who was that lightweight he fought in his one lightweight fight already?
Who, Topuria?
Yeah.
Was it not LaRon Murphy? I was getting him confused.
No, it was Jai Herbert. It was almost Jai Herbert.
I always get them confused.
Almost the hiccup.
Yeah, no, that head kick dropped his ass. He almost got finished. But he came back and finished him.
He did. But I don't think that Topuria is a big puncher for featherweight, but he's also like 5'7". I don't think he's going to be, there's a lightweight version of Topuria that's a hell of a lot of fun and has a lot of great fights, but I don't think it's a championship version of him. There.
The only reason I agree with you is because of Makhachev. If Makhachev is kicking Alexander Volkanovski in the head, there's no reason he can't do the same thing to Topuria.
Yeah.
But if Islam wasn't there, I'd be like, yeah, go fuck around with Oliveira and them. Go join that circle of violence.
If Alvarez is moving up, though, that does mean he could fight my boy Carlos Prates.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, insta stiffy.
Yeah,
that's a sexy fight.
That is a damn sexy fight.
It's giving me goosebumps just thinking about it. That will make me nervous.
Yeah,
that fight will make me nervous.
Honestly,
I don't even know who wins that fight. So I guess we both want to see him compete against a fighting nerd at the end of the day, one way or the other. All
right, that brings us to a featherweight bout. Sean Woodson, Fernando Padilla, and
hold on, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I picked Padilla here.
Oh,
I picked Padilla.
I picked Woodson. Woodson just had too many ways to win for me to pick Padilla because Padilla doesn't range fight at all. He's as tall as Woodson, but
no. But like that's why I picked him, because I didn't think he was going to try to play that game. I thought he was going to go get in Woodson's face like he did, put hands on him like he did.
Yep.
But Padilla hit this fucking wall.
He did.
I think it's because he went so hard on the ground with the rubber guard and mission control and trying to get the sub and forcing the omoplata that once he got back to his feet, his legs were fried.
Yeah,
he couldn't do shit. He couldn't.
I mean, that's part of why I picked against him too. Is he does push really hard, and he actually has a tendency to push himself past his cardio. But B, like it's sort of a gambit. It's like, yeah, okay, you're a great killer for the first 5 minutes of a fight, and if that doesn't pan out, then I know that Woodson has, he has the ability to make you look bad in too many other places. For me to pick.
Talk about a decision machine, though. I feel like Woodson really needed this finish.
He did.
I was getting sick of his shit. I'm going to be honest with you. I was getting real sick of his volume punching.
Yeah.
Like, I just hate that. Like, so for him to overcome the adversity that he overcame, great to see. And for him to just finally put someone away with his hands, like that's what I needed out of him.
I'm a fan of the volume punching. I don't have the hatred for it you do, but I am glad to see Woodson put somebody away. He does need finishes if he's actually going to move up and be any kind of force in that division. Definitely.
Yeah, so that was good to see.
Yeah. Got somebody saying that Woodson deserves somebody like Giga Chikadze or Edson Barboza next. Bottom of the top 15.
Isn't Barboza booked?
Yeah, I think Barboza is currently booked to fight Steve Garcia.
Ooh.
Giga's not booked, though.
Giga is not booked.
Giga is not booked. I'd be up for either of those.
So, like, I was thinking, if Cub Swanson doesn't retire, who could he fight? And I was like, maybe he could fight Giga Chikadze in his retirement fight.
He could. I want Cub to retire, though.
Yeah. Yeah, Woodson against Barboza would be great. But Woodson versus Chikadze would be great. I don't think I'd pick Woodson in either of those.
Yeah. Feely's coming off a win. There's always Andre Feely's always out there.
Yeah, but he's ready for that step up, though, for sure.
Yeah, he could do the rematch with Julian Erosa because Erosa beat him.
Erosa's not. No.
And yeah, I mean, otherwise, there's guys like Ricardo Ramos or Nathaniel Wood, stuff like that. But
where's Nathaniel Wood been?
He just got a win at UFC 304 over Daniel Pineda.
Okay.
But he had that loss last year to Muhammad Naimov that really killed his momentum after picking up 3 straight wins in featherweight. So, really, honestly, I'm happy to watch Woodson face anybody, really, in that division. He's a fun action fighter. I know he's not been the finisher you love, but he's never in a boring
that's not
fight.
action.
No, it is. He throws a lot. That's action.
He does throw a lot, but it's like watching a cat swing at you. It's like, yeah, he's connecting, but they're baps. They're not like.
All right.
But this was great when he's got someone who will just keep their hands down and take clean shots and face block. Sign me up.
All right, that brings us to a featherweight bout. Felipe Lima, Miles Johns. I don't know why this fight was at featherweight exactly, but Felipe Lima is going to be a real problem at bantamweight.
Bro, he looked fantastic.
He looks so damn good.
He was styling.
For a guy, too, who is as absolutely ridiculously aggressive as Lima is, he makes a lot of really good reads.
So he's someone who can go crazy and go full berserker, but he's also someone who can just reel it in, stay behind his jab, make brilliant moves real time. For instance, it might have been the third, but he jumped on the back standing and then hopped off it just so he could get the takedown, and then went back to a back take. And I'm just like, oh, that is smart. That is cerebral fighting out there.
Johns is out there trying to wrestle him, and you see him, he's got the 2 hands down, fighting the grips of Johns, doing all the right things to fight the takedown. He gets Johns down. He's immediately hunting the Darce, threatening from the front headlock positions. Like, he is actually what he goes for and what he does. Like, he has been trained really well in his aggression. This is not a dude just going wild and doing stupid shit out there.
Yes, there's a method to the madness.
And seeing him out wrestle somebody like Johns too, like, that's going to be hard as hell to handle down a division.
The phase shifting, it's beautiful. He's got a lot. He did eat a lot of calf kicks that he's going to have to address and figure out, but he can fight from either stance, so he can adjust. Not a lot I didn't like out of him, to be honest with you.
No, he was
great. Smart. He fought a really smart fight for this being as crazy as it was.
Yeah, if he is going to go down to bantamweight, which I still assume is the plan, then I don't know. Maybe Charles Jourdain just won against Victor Henry. That'd be a pretty good fight for Lima.
That would be a scrap.
And otherwise, see, you got Ayman Zahabi down there.
Ooh, Ooh, that's another good scrap.
Yeah.
He's been overproducing.
And yeah, there are a bunch of guys beyond that, you know. You start getting to the bottom, you got guys like Gene Matsumoto and Gaston Boyanos and just whatever. Like, make fights for him. I want to watch this kid.
He's a ton of fun.
Somebody mentioning Taylor Lapilus, which I did see that and I could see it, but Lapilus is such a back foot neutralizer. I never really feel like I want to recommend somebody else fight Lapilus. That's never like my idea of a fun way to see somebody else fight, you know? I enjoy Lapilus in his own element, like I enjoy Chris Gutierrez in his own element, but I'm rarely ever like, oh, you should fight Chris Gutierrez. He's going to stay on his back foot, low kick you, and make you look bad, you know?
Sure.
All right. On that note, Miranda Maverick, Jamie Lynn Horth, and
man,
I know she's your girl, Eddie, but
this was a tough one.
When is Maverick going to put it together? Because it still seems like she's a good athlete who has a game that she's just not that comfortable with.
Man.
She punches like she watched Michael Chandler instructional videos.
Not all the time, though. Like, sometimes she comes out with, like, some clean Muay Thai, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But then it's not there the next fight. And
other times,
she's more
like, are you going to throw your shoulder out of the socket punching like this? What? Her jab came only off of, she'd throw her left hook, and then the jab was a backhand off the left hook. It's like, that's not how you throw, that's not what a jab is supposed to do.
To that, I will say she was able to use that striking in an effective way to set up her takedown, which she definitely needed there in the third.
Yeah.
So
she got it done.
It was functional.
Yeah.
Even if the form was less than stellar.
Yeah.
And, it was just a bad fight for her.
Yeah.
She knows it. She's already talked about it. It was just a bad fight. She looked small out there. I'll even say that. Horth looked huge.
Yeah, that's been a problem for her, really, honestly, is that the truth is that for as built as she is and as strong as she is still 5'3". And that's strawweight sized, height wise. There aren't a lot of flyweights that are that short.
No, it's true. And that's a big obstacle for her to overcome.
Yeah.
I don't think she was as strong in the clinch as she thought she was going to be. And she really struggled there in the first round to get the fight where she wanted it. I mean, it was damn near wall install. She was working the takedowns. She was trying.
Yeah.
But she was getting neutralized. So
it's a tough one.
For her to lean into that janky striking to set up her takedown in the third was a good sign.
She got it done.
Finding ways to win. But yeah, the size I think is a big hill for her to climb here.
Yeah. It's gonna make it hard moving up further in that division.
Yeah, she said she wants to fight with Jessica Andrade.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
That's what she's calling for.
She's not getting that fight. She might have to settle for like Casey O'Neill.
Which is fine. That's a winnable fight for her.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to a bantamweight bout. Davey Grant, Ramon Tavares. Another one for the old guys. Love to see it. Tavares, he built his record pre-UFC off of really poor competition. And his game is just not ready to fight at this level at all. He throws like a half to a third as much volume as he needs to fight at this level. And
Grant throws all the volume with all the variety.
Yep.
Like he is throwing everything he's ever learned his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Like the kitchen sink is flying at you. And it's funny because I was talking with my buddy during this fight, and just after the first round, my buddy's like, "Oh man, Grant's looking great." And I was like, yeah, I mean, he'll do great as long as he doesn't get caught. And then he gets dropped. And I'm like, that's the one thing he's got to avoid in this fight. But he recovered and he was able to do his thing and keep his funk going. And couldn't be more happy for him.
Yeah. Team old guy winning another one. Love to see it. Then finally, Pierre Rodriguez beat Josephine Knudsen. And when Rodriguez is not checking out and going totally nuts, she's a good fighter. But she needs to keep her head straight, you know. I'm shocked. She got a good strong win here. Knudsen needs to fire her wrestling coach and get a new one because she looked like she'd never defended a takedown in her life. But
she did have a go-go plata attempt for half a second.
That was cool if she'd known what to do with it, but she attempted it and then just immediately like, okay, you don't actually know how to finish this. You've never had to.
Well, I mean, I know 2 people that have ever finished that in the MMA. One being Nick Diaz, and the other being Brent Primus.
Yeah, and otherwise, I was shocked that Pierre Rodriguez got this fight. That she's still in the UFC, so it's really for her.
Why is that? Why are you shocked?
She got DQ'd for headbutting.
So Priscilla Cachoeiro is fucking eye gouging, and
they kicked out that one guy for biting. You know,
that's fucking biting. That's different.
It is not different than headbutting. When the ref has pulled you aside and been like, "Hey, you can't headbutt."
You can have an accidental clash of heads. You can't have an accidental biting.
Yeah, you can. Michael Chandler had it on fucking. No. Dustin Poirier.
You had that the other way. Poirier bit Chandler for sticking his fingers in his mouth.
Poirier had that on Michael Chandler.
Nothing about that was accidental, my guy.
I know, but that's
No, it doesn't happen.
You're not going to get rid of Poirier.
A headbutt is way more forgivable, in my opinion.
Not the way she did it. Not the way where she's on top of somebody, in control of everybody's posture. And the ref's like, "Hey, don't headbutt this woman." And she looks at him, and then she headbutts him or headbutts her.
It's more forgivable than biting, in my opinion.
All right,
biting is like that's some serious primal fearing for your life.
Yeah. Either way. Anyway, solid enough win. Whatever. And on that
fight, shit fight.
Yeah, it was fine. I don't know. Whatever. On that note, we're gonna wrap it up. Find me on Twitter at Zane Simon. You can find Eddie on Twitter at Eddie Mercado. If you're a subscriber, find us later on our Substack, the Vivi 6-round Substack, where we'll have some bonus content. And in the meantime, thank you all for listening in. We appreciate it, and we'll see you all next time. See you all in 2025.
See you next year.